And thanks for joining us on the news tonight. President Bola Tinubu has rejected a bill that seeks to raise the retirement age of civil servants working in the National Assembly. The decision of the president is contained in a letter read by Senate President Godswill Akpabio on the floor of the upper legislative chamber on Tuesday. President Tinubu commended the lawmakers for their effort in the drafting, consideration and passage of the bill. The president did not give specific reasons for turning down the bill, which had generated lots of controversy. The Senate had in February rejected the bill, but reconsidered it and passed it in concurrence with a similar one passed in the House of Representatives. The bill seeks to increase the retirement age to 65 years or 40 years of service, whichever comes first. The existing law prescribes 60 years or 35 years of service for retirement.
Upon thorough examination and careful consideration, I have decided to withhold my assent to the bill. This decision is made in accordance with the powers vested in me by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I wish to express my sincere appreciation for the diligent work of the Senate with regards to the drafting and passage of this bill. However, I trust that this decision will be received with understanding and acceptance.
Senior reporter Tijesu Adeoye joins me live from our studios in Abuja. Tijesu, let's begin with why the Senate rejected the bill at its first instance in February.
Well, hello, Nifemi. Like you rightly said, the Senate had rejected this bill earlier when it was put forward to them. And the argument was quite a lot. Even the Parliamentary Association of Nigeria actually kicked against this bill for the fact that, you know, the unemployment index of Nigeria is quite large. You know, Nigeria currently has a 33.3% unemployment index. And looking at this critically, one should be thinking of shrinking, you know, this retirement age instead of increasing it. But other people on the other side of the divide also believe that, you know, these people over the years might have gathered a lot of experience, and, you know, with the knowledge and experience they have, they can as well use a lot of it. And even the age range, they seem to be, you know, maybe quite agile and still useful for the service. And they just feel that, you know, a 5-year extension, you know, should not be too much, and it should, you know, it will do better to the development of the service rather than, you know, doing harm to it. But considering the large unemployment index and the, you know, the large unemployment rates of youth, one thinks that, okay, injecting a new vibrant force into the system is a better deal, you know, for this. And I believe probably these are the arguments the president might have considered in his own wisdom to, you know, take this decision.
But how did the senators react to Mr. President's decision to withdraw his assent?
Well, there was not much reaction after, you know, the president of the Senate actually read out that letter, because the president himself had already sought their for their understanding. And, you know, considering all sides of the argument and being a sensitive matter, in fact, if you consider the Constitution, these National Assembly officers, especially the clerk, are products of the Constitution. And, you know, by going as such, their duties and all is defined by the Constitution. And if anything should change, even regarding their retirement age, it should come by way of alteration of the Constitution. And I believe most of them understood this fact. Even when it was first brought before them, there was that, you know, key argument on the floor of the Senate. But, you know, when it was later brought back by the leader of the Senate, who says all sides have been considered and it's fit for passage, so it passed. But probably when the president took a second look, he felt, okay, there's a need to, you know, take a step back and, you know, just remain as it is.
Senior reporter Tijesu Adeoye live for us in our Abuja studio. Now, the House of Representatives has resumed full legislative plenary at the end of its annual vacation, which began in July, but it adjourned legislative activities to Wednesday in honor of Senator Nnamdi Kanu, who died during the holiday. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa reports.
We beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions.
After more than 8 weeks of its annual vacation, lawmakers are back on their turf for plenary and other legislative activities. Happy to see one another again, lawmakers exchange pleasantries after weeks of recess. The Speaker reads a letter from President Bola Tinubu requesting approval for a supplementary budget for the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
This supplementary budget proposal has been prepared on the basis of the FCT's reviewed revenue and expenditure forecast and is aligned with the fiscal and developmental policies of the federal government and the renewed hope agenda. With it, the FCTA continues to prioritize improvement of human capital and infrastructure within the Federal Capital Territory. May his soul rest in peace.
In line with the tradition, the House observes a minute of silence to honor a member of the Senate, Ifeanyi Ubah, who died during vacation.
Senator Ubah represented Anambra South and was known for his contributions both in the Senate and as a businessman. As the founder of Capital Oil and Gas, he played a key role in the petroleum sector, helping to stabilize fuel supply and bring innovation to the industry.
Senator Ifeanyi Ubah reportedly died of cardiac arrest in London on the 27th of July. The House thereafter adjourned sitting to Wednesday, when full plenary session is expected to begin. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Away from the National Assembly to Judiciary, where Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court Abuja has recused herself from the trial of leader of Indigenous People of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Her recusal was at the instance of Mr. Kanu. Celestina Area reports.
In all this is judgment of the Supreme Court.
Leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, had directly told Justice Binta Nyako in open court to recuse herself from his trial. He based his remark on the Supreme Court decision wherein the Supreme Court questioned the jurisdiction of where the alleged broadcast for which he is standing trial at the Federal High Court was made. Nnamdi Kanu vehemently ordered his counsel, Ale Jimako, who was addressing the court, to sit down while he stood up from the dock to address Justice Nyako. He later explained to TVC News the reason for his decision. He says he has no confidence in the court.
Justice Binta to recuse herself. Yes. Do you have that time on your hands for the case to go to the CEJ for it to be reassigned to another judge?
As long as justice will be done at the end of the day, that's what bothers me. For justice to be done. I cannot be tried in violation of a key provision of the Constitution of Nigeria, Section 36. It's as simple as that.
Mr. Kanu said he is ready to wait even longer as long as justice is served at the end.
You'll be patient for the case to go back and come back to the court.
This is my 4th year in solitary confinement in detention. The 5th year will not kill me.
His defense counsel, but we're not being given the opportunity. The court did make some order, and the consequences of that order would have resulted in getting him adequately prepared. But most of those orders were disobeyed in their material particulars. For instance, we were not provided a clean room where no one will have listening devices to listen to our conversations. And our documents, legal documents we take to the DSS facility, detention facility, are interdicted and seized.
Arraigned in November 2021, the federal government has not been able to call their first witness in the case they filed against Nnamdi Kanu, although Justice Binta Nyako had delivered several rulings in the matter which were subject of appeal up to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court ordered that the matter be returned to the Federal High Court for trial. With the developments today, Mr. Kanu will have to exercise patience for Justice John Soho, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, to reassign the case to another judge or send it back to Justice Binta Nyako for commencement of trial. Celestina Area, TVC News.